Hey guys, so we are going to do a series of really short, quick videos talking about the characters in the first chapter of Gatsby. We're going to do them short for a couple of reasons. One, I think that this is best in small doses because it is so much information so quickly. And two, I'm using my phone right now to record this, so my camera's charging, so it only has so much memory because it's an Android. So anyway, so let's go ahead and start with the very beginning part of The Great Gatsby. If you open up to the first page, even before you get into the book, there's this dedication. It says, "Then wear the gold hat if that will move her. If you can bounce high, bounce for her too, till she cry, lover, gold-hatted, high-bouncing lover, I must have you." And then it's quoted, or it's attributed to Thomas Park de Anvillers. Anvillers, I can't speak French, which is a character from a different book that F. Scott Fitzgerald wrote, but he's quoting the character as though it is an actual person. So even before we step into this land of Gatsby, we have this weird blending of reality and non-reality. So again, the idea of the Proustian metaphor, the Proustian Madeline, is this flowering of metaphor, right? One of the things that we talked about in American literature is the pendulum swing, right? We keep finding ourselves back in these caves of ignorance. Well, an aspect of that is that we learn history so we don't repeat history, but history seems to prove that we keep repeating history, right? So the question is why? And part of that is this construct that we are the same people, we are the same consciousness, and we repeat the same character flaws because it's actually part of our nature. One of the aspects of being an American is this idea that we've created this country, right? We've come together and we've said we are going to be independent and we are going to allow for freedom, total freedom of self, total freedom from consciousness. But philosophically speaking, that's not actually possible. It's not actually possible on multiple levels. It's not actually possible because, one, you can never truly be independent from everyone else, as you're not born in a cave, you don't live in a vacuum, you have to interact with other people, even though right now we're told to not interact with other people. That's neither here nor there. But because you interact with other people, because you're not born in a vacuum, you are influenced by other people. So there is no separation from you and other people. And then as a country as a whole, if we all have this singular vision of what it means to be an American, what it means to have independence and freedom and equality and all of those things, then we can't be that independent because it's a singular vision. So there is some paradox there. Now remember, the transcendentalists and the romantics and the gothicists would all argue that's okay, that like we should embrace that, right? But modernity goes, okay, let's embrace it, but let's not blindly embrace it. Let's question it. And this dedication is the very first, is the part of that. It's the beginning of that, right? Okay, so the next page says, once again to Zelda. So Zelda was Fitzgerald's wife. There's a movie that you can watch that's really heartbreaking and tragic. I think it's actually an Amazon Prime series called Zelda. It's really good. But for my ladies, once again, we kind of get the raw end of the deal because this is, and Fitzgerald said this himself. He said, quote, "This is a man's book. The majority of American literature, it's man's literature, and that it is what it is." That's why I pound Emily Dickinson home with you guys, because to me, she's one of those really important, as Hawthorne called them, damn scribbling women. And American women are more recognized in modern literature, but canonically speaking, they're not. So let's start with the very first chapter that we've got here. And we're going to dive into some of the aspects of characterization and the symbolism therein. But I'm going to stop it. I'm going to stop the video in about a minute or so, but I just wanted to get this out. When we talk about the idea of Daisy, her name Daisy, if you think about the daisy flower, the petals are white and the inside of the daisy itself is yellow, like the center of it is yellow. Metaphorically speaking, the archetype of the color of white is supposed to represent purity. And the archetype of the color yellow is supposed to be like gold, but also tainted purity. So if you think about the idea of Daisy with these white petals, they're beautiful, they're ornamental. On the outside, they look pure, but her heart, the inside of her, is corrupted, right? It's the same for an egg. Think about that, about the idea of West egg and East egg, okay? All right, I'll see you guys in a minute.